J Beam is light, J Beam is love. Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage and J Beam is a brand new Tamil language courtroom thriller drama that was just released on Amazon Prime. It was written and directed by TJ Nanavel and it stars Surya as a righteous lawyer who helps a tribal woman to unravel the mystery around the disappearance of her husband, who was wrongfully picked up and tortured by the police. Pretty much around the same time last year, I was blown away by Surya's previous film Surarai Pottaru. So I was very much looking forward to this one. And while it's not in the same league, I definitely wasn't disappointed. Now, some of you might know at this point, but if you present a story to me that's about injustice and present it in a way that showcases the power of the people, the empowerment of the oppressed, and how the legal system can achieve justice if good people are willing to fight for the good cause, and if you tell and film this story in a gripping way, I'm pretty much hooked. I knew exactly where and how the filmmakers were manipulating me emotionally, but I still didn't care and honestly teared up several times. You could say that all of filmmaking is a form of manipulation, and it's a delicate line of when is something too much and when is something still pushing the right buttons. And of course it also very much depends on the audience or the individual. J Beam is a pretty black and white film that clearly divides its characters into the good or innocent and the bad and unjust. It's a film about caste discrimination and police brutality, issues that I have seen in countless Indian movies, yet this one still had a very powerful effect on me. It's not subtle at all and there's a lot of graphical violence shown, a lot of torture. It's one of those films that feature countless people crying, including little children in the streets. But if a film as a whole works and tells a compelling story, then I think that certain topics allow for such a direct and emotional approach. Certain wrongs are so big, the crimes and injustices so overwhelming, that it's okay not to go with a more balanced, nuanced approach if you want to shine some light on it, especially if you aim at a bigger audience. If you really want to raise attention or give a voice to a marginalized and wronged community. That doesn't mean that this extremely dramatic and, let's say, manipulative way is the best or only approach, but I think it's totally justifiable. J Beam is set in 1995 and it's based on real events. It introduces us to the world of the Irula people, a tribe that once was characterized by their great hunting skills and that today mostly lives in very poor conditions, mostly working to catch snakes or rats or do some heavy labor like laying bricks. The film depicts a society that only considers them worth enough of getting rid of vermin, while it portrays them as kind and loving people. The focus is on this married couple, Raja Kanu, played by K. Manikandan, and Sangini, played by Lijo Molyos. They live in a little shack, expecting their second child, and they dream of one day living in a home with brick walls. Both actors are fantastic and this whole first act was really able to suck me into the movie. We also get a really lovely song that talks about the simple life and also the past of the Irula people. The music was composed by Sean Roldan and while it certainly does its fair share of amplifying the already pretty strong and obvious emotions, I actually enjoyed the score and songs a lot. I think the movie does a really good job incorporating the songs into the narrative without them feeling disruptive. Probably the film's main song or anthem if you will is played when our main lead and star Surya is entering the scene. It does take almost 30 minutes until he appears on screen and it actually takes some more until he really becomes the focal point. But it works. When he first appears we get the song Power, which like the title suggests is this energetic, rousing battle hymn. And if it wasn't clear already, it's also at that point that you really understand what kind of movie this is. Cue the slow motion and let our hero walk with that super determined expression on his face and a big powerful music behind him. J Beam doesn't fully fall in that hero worship category and there are also no scenes in which Surya begins to beat up bad guys or anything like that, but it definitely has that slightly larger than life attitude. And honestly, I was all there for it. Because at that point you already know what direction this movie will take and you are already looking forward to the moment when justice prevails. This emphasis on the power of that one man who will rise to the occasion and help the people in need. It has something almost superhero-like to it. Only that he's a real human being, only a lawyer, and his superpower is knowing law and doing everything in his power to help the oppressed. Again, this is totally up my alley. And while the movie has these moments in which Surya's character Chandru is coming up with a great new clue or revelation about the case, the movie never loses its firm grip in reality. Sure, there are melodrama and thriller elements to it, but the honest attempt to shine a light on these issues can always be felt, and the subject matter is still treated with a lot of respect and dignity. Surya is very good in the role, but it's not really him who's carrying the movie. It's the power of the message and the big cathartic emotions, the strive for justice and the satisfaction when justice prevails. This is what really carries the film. Because of that, and because this very much moves in mainstream genre conventions, it's also excusable that Chandru as a character pretty much remains the same from beginning to end. There isn't much of an arc to him, but you don't necessarily always need a character arc in every kind of movie. It's also fine that we don't really learn much about him. He's a character who is characterized by his constant fight for justice and by the connections to or influences from powerful people that came before him, like B.R. Ambedkar. Chandru is just the means to tell this specific story and move it forward, and I think that's fine. Prakash Raj, who later teams up with Chandru, has more of an arc, even if it's just a very small one. I really enjoyed their collaboration. But the standouts are really K. Manikandan as Rajakanu and especially Lee Jumol-jose as Sangini. Overall, I thought that J-Beam is a very powerful and highly emotional film, and I enjoyed how Chandru was slowly unveiling the truth. And that's what it comes down to, truth. All the dirty business by politicians and corrupt cops, all that talk about promotions and favors, pretending to work for the people but actually just putting money in your own pocket. And of course the superstitions and beliefs that you are somehow above other people. There's even a little jibe against an Ayurveda practitioner who pretends to be an actual doctor. But in the end, truth is stronger and Chandru is laying down all the facts until no one is able to hide it anymore. Now, I have to say that it's certainly a very long film and I think the middle section is a bit slow. And one reason for that in my opinion is that one certain big revelation was, at least to me, obviously clear very early on, and the movie still proceeds as if we haven't guessed or figured it out yet. Not a huge problem, but it killed some of the tension for me. So in German I'd say, die starke und sehr emotionalisierende Einseitigkeit kann man J-Beam aufgrund der wichtigen Thematik verzeihen. Und dann ist dieser äußerst hochwertig produzierte, etwas lang geratene Gerichtsthriller wirklich stark und mitreißend. I give J-Beam 8 out of 10. It's more like 7.6, but I don't do that.
That's all.
Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about J-Beam. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Letterboxd, and also on Patreon simply at TheJimmyCage. There's also something new that I haven't really announced yet, but I just started to make my reviews available in audio-only form as well. So if you maybe prefer to just listen to it while, for example, doing some other stuff, you can now get the reviews on Spotify, Anchor and Apple Podcasts. Just search for The Jimmy Cage Podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like, and make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.